What's up, guys? We're Sunrose chatting with Milky.
Firstly, the new album, Self-immolation, it's such a great record, like from top to bottom, really good listen. Before we get into that, can you kind of tell us a bit about like what brought you all together and how Sunrose came to be?
Yeah, it was very universally. I think Jax tells the story the best. Jax, do you wanna
I can do the honors. I can do the honors. We all happened to be in Los Angeles around end of 2018, early 2019. I grew up playing drums and moved to LA to pursue other things and kind of quit playing drums. And then around 6 months into moving into Los Angeles, I just had a feeling that I needed to start playing again. And I met Jackson a little bit right after I'd moved there. And there was a rehearsal studio down the street from where I was staying at the time. And we went there, we clicked, started playing again. And then on my way to go to rehearse with him, I called him and I was like, hey, do you want to jam today? And he was like, yeah. Can I bring my neighbor who lives in the same building as me, which was Stefan? He can play guitar, piano, and saxophone, and harmonica, and sing, and do all kinds of other things. And we jammed, and it was like, whoa, like we need to keep doing this. And then,
mind you, Stefan had walked up to me in our pool area at the apartment. This like dude with long hair walks up to me and he's like, yo, are you that guy playing guitar fucking loud? And I was like, oh shit, yeah, sorry. And he's like, no, it's cool. I play too. Like we should jam sometime. And so the day that Jax had hit me up to go like play some drums with him, Stefan messaged me and was like, were you being a cool neighbor or do you really want to fucking make some music? And I was like, dude, come with me right now. I have a drummer. Let's go fucking rock out. And so that's when we all linked with Jax at Amped rehearsals in North Hollywood.
It's such a great story.
And then around May or I guess it was March of 2020, Trip left New York where he was living at the time. And Trip, you should probably tell your background of music before this event.
I had moved to New York probably like 3 months prior to like the band starting, these three guys starting to jam. And Jackson, me and Jackson had been friends since like New Year's Eve of 2018. And he had sent me some music that the guys were doing that was just very moving, and it was something that I really wanted to be a part of. And I told Jackson, like, I know like I've never really, like I don't really play music, but if there's anything I can do for you guys, like let me know. I would love to be a part of it and help her in any way I can. He called me back and was like, hey, like if you buy a bass and moved back to LA from New York, like we'll teach you the music, you can take lessons and like be in the band. And so I was like, hell yeah, man. Like I'll catch the first flight home right now. So within probably like 16 hours, I was on a plane, like headed back to LA. I spent like all the money I had on a bass, and then my parents wouldn't let me come rehearse. So I just
COVID.
Because COVID had just started. My dad told me if I left, I love my father, we're all good. He was just worried about getting sick, my mom getting sick. But he told me if I left, I couldn't come back. So I said, peace, backed up my stuff and moved in with the guys. And yeah.
Mind you, we moved into like a 400.
The biggest, most luxurious apartment you could ever fathom.
We moved into like a 400
there's a hole, bro.
apartment.
It's a little room.
One bathroom. Like we had beds
No
in all the
bedrooms.
corners. No
Yeah,
privacy.
literally not a single separating wall other than the bathroom. Just
But I mean, if you're fucking gonna be a band, that's how you got to do it, right? You have to pay your dues. So
because if you can't do it in there, then you can't do it in the world, you know. So
It's wild. So how did you guys kind of like find like launching like a new musical project essentially like as the world shut down during COVID?
it was deductive reasoning. It was literally what we had to do. Work was scarce to say the least prior to COVID and the government shutdown pussy ridiculousness. You can quote me on that. It was just like everybody, all this work all of a sudden dried up, and that's what there was to do. And there were a lot of hobbyist local bands, and we just kind of looked at each other and were like, yo, if we're gonna do this, we should actually do this. Let's, make an Instagram, let's have the people weigh in. And our first project, the self-titled album Sunrose, was fan sponsored by a merch pre-sale that we launched out of that tiny apartment. And within the first 2 weeks, we cleared like north of 20 grand. And that's what subsidized kind of like the first campaign of our first album. And we printed the names of everyone who purchased merch to sponsor that album inside the vinyl jacket. So even if you pick a copy of one of those up today, you get to see the name of every single person who actually made the album real.
Yeah, that's so lovely. That's super awesome. And so the new album, Self-immolation, like it's quite like, at least in my opinion, like a defiant body of work and kind of offers like ruminations on society and the human existence. Could you kind of like unpack those themes and concepts thought across the record and the importance to you with documenting them within your music?
Yeah, I think even with our first record, you got to think about the times that we were in, like the world was in a really weird place, and we all as individuals and collectively felt that. And the music we all were into, Led Zeppelin to Pink Floyd to Rage Against the Machine to Black Sabbath, like the music we were studying, the common theme was they were always talking about what was going on around them in the world. And we're like, okay, the music industry's fooled with this pop bubblegum shit. Let's at least speak on, especially as me being a Black frontman, like let's speak on things that only we could really speak on. Music has to be a revolution, and otherwise your band's just like a pop band, So with this new album, when we were out recording it, our whole focus was to take elements from our first record of what we spoke on and not change who we were as people, but change the music and the quality just to get deeper into what we believe in. So this record around self-immolation was kind of like, first one through the door always gets bloody. So why not us? Why not we go and just say the things that we want to say and like speak on things and events that we think are important to the world, because it's like a timestamp that in 10 years, if you go back and listen to our album, you'll hear what was going on in the world through what we're saying.
Yeah, I back it. Sonically, like it's quite a wonderfully crafted album, and kind of brings that like nostalgia of like 90s alt rock and grunge into like a contemporary kind of context. What drew you guys to working within this genre, and how did you kind of like craft the overall sonic realm that the album exists within?
We never we're like, all right, we're gonna make a grunge album or we're gonna make this, but like as I said, with what's going on, I feel like the you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. That grinding, that feeling of like intensity is kind of where our music stems from. And from the beginning of our musical career, we had a few bands in a certain era that we were really listening to, and over the course of the last 3 years, we just decided we wanted to delve deeper into being students of music. So we studied from the beginning of music time all the way up to now, because it's 2023. A lot of rock bands are like, yeah, we're a 80s hair metal band and we sound exactly like everybody else. And we were like, fuck that. Like, let's take elements from every single artist or band or group or solo artist or song that we like throughout time and find why it worked and implement it into what we're doing now. It has reminiscence of everything, because that is music. There's only 12 chords. There's only certain things you can do, but it's the feeling and it's the reason you do it that like gives it that intensity.
Sure. I love that. That was so eloquently put. And so like, when it came to kind of working on this body of work, what was like your creative process doing that? Because obviously you guys are also in like the dual location of like Los Angeles.
Spent $260,000 on recording equipment and make sure that the second project is sonically superior to the first based on engineering and recording quality.
I love it. That was perfect.
Steph was like, we need to get the fuck out of LA. I have a house. I'm going to build a studio. You guys are more than welcome to come record it. And we were blessed enough to have like,
now I was like, I'm gonna build a studio if y'all are trying to come like recording it, because it's like, it's cool. But it really revolved around that, because I'm like, all right, if we make this second one and it's not fan funded and it's just on us, it has to be enough to like get us through to a third. And also so people listen to the first one and go like, oh wow, this sounds sonically, this sounds a lot. And it's like, yeah, our music grew and our ideas grew, but the reality, I would say about 50% of it was environmentally. Instead of having a small fan fund and 30 hours to record everything from vocals to drums to guitars to punch in solos, ad libs, we had like 6 or 7 months. And I think that is a lot of what is conveyed in that album. Is all the same musicians, a little bit better, ran through way better channel strips, way better mixers, refined, mixed, and mastered at a superior quality that most people, I say, wouldn't access before agreeing to sell a portion of their life and their rights away to like a major label.
And so how do you think like the album kind of like evolved from its initial conceptions, like the body of work that is in the world today?
Honestly, we had the concept. Our fucking album cover we shot like very early on. So it was in the back of our minds, right? Because we were like, all right, conceptually self-immolation. That came from Kwangdok Thich, who was this Tibetan monk who self-immolated in protest for Buddhism because they weren't allowed to practice it. So it was kind of our whole idea with how COVID was, and you're not allowed to be a musician, you're not allowed to practice, you're not allowed to go play shows, you're not allowed to be in the world, you're not
allowed to go outside, baby. Stay home and rock.
So we're like, dude, a rock band, how unfucking rock and roll, how unpunk rock would it be for us to not like give the people what they want?
Yeah.
And like play music. So the evolution of this record, we just sat, we made about 30 records, and they are all records that we're still going to use. It's not like we make stuff and we're like, all right, fuck it. Like we were very methodical because there's always a time for more music. It's just finding something conceptually that works together that, you know, the masses can digest easily enough. But
like we may be one of the only acts since like Prince to genuinely have individually and collectively like a vault of all these varying types of music, and have more music unreleased on the back burners than we do on the front line. Because once you release it, it becomes very much about placement and marketing and making sure that it's really not up to you, but making sure at least a couple of those things hit from that project to perpetuate, you know, like funding it, touring, playing, stuff like that. But yeah, I would like we have so much music, like Jackson was saying, it really went from like 30 tracks to like 16 to 15 to like 10, and we're like, we like snuck one more in and it's like 11. So just a multitude of music to sit on is really, I think, how to pushing it out. I think a lot of people rely on that one hit wonder and then they get caught with their pants down because they're like, now maybe we do some covers. Like, what do we do? Because they don't really like have the music in them necessarily. I think we all just spontaneously, for one reason or another, even Trip, who like really hadn't played music before, it's like a bug. It's like if COVID was awesome and gave you superpowers, and we are all super music positive.
That's the headline there, that quote. If each of you had to pick a song of the album to play to someone who had like never heard your music that you think would make them an instant, on the spot, diehard fan, which song would you each choose?
What a tough question.
That's, yeah, because going back to what Steph was saying, like even what you had said before, you're like, oh, it's in this grungy world. Like honestly, our music, we make all types of music, and it's the attitude that gives it Sunrose. So it's
actually, Jackson, can I stop you? Mr. Milky, what are your 4 favorite songs from Self-immolation? Go.
My favorite, I liked In the Sun. I thought that one was really sick. Fun was a fun one. And then I think the other one was, I really liked Chambers, but also, actually no, Burn, opening song, because I know that's also the one that we playlisted, because I was
it's tough, right? So like out of those that you just mentioned, like Chambers, In the Sun, is that grunge? Would you consider that grunge? I don't.
No,
it's not up to me. We make it for people, but you see where I'm going with it?
The correct answer to your question is depending on the person I'm playing the song for.
Depending on the listener, it's all about
there's something for them. And that's why we go, hey man, just listen to the album. You'll find something.
And then, then like you tell us, because like it's really not up to us. Once we release it, I think as a genuine artist, once you release something, it stops being yours. And the humility comes from going, the song that I like the most, people might like the least. The song that I like the least might be people's favorite. So like it's always an interesting thing, because once we release it, like it's never really up to us. Not ours. And then it changes too, because I'm like, I don't know, like this song's okay. Then we play it live for example, Burn. Like in the studio, I'm like, yeah, Burn for a single, cool. Now, like when we play Burn, I'm like, fuck, I love playing Burn. And it's it's like a simple song with a simple set of rhythm riffs as far as like what I play, but I just get so much satisfaction out. And that's grunge.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of grungy.
Or is it disco? Or is it fucking
Right? It's punky music, punky reggae party music.
reggae party?
You guys are great at marketing because you basically just told everyone to listen to the whole album and it worked.
I mean, but like honestly,
That's the only way to do it.
No one does
the
that
thing,
anymore.
like, nobody puts out projects.
But Cardi B puts out 17 songs and then 1 or 2 singles are smashes and like the rest never really even surface. I think it's rare that people are like, no, go play any song on the album. For example, depending on what mood you're in, you might listen to Burn or you might listen to Homeward Bound.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not, I'm not going to be like, yeah, this party's rocking. Hey, man, throw on some Chambers and Homeward Bound. Sunrose for like,
it also depends on what mental state you're in. You could smoke a joint and throw on Chambers and have an ethereal fucking moment. Or you could be like drinking with your boys and Ain't No Pope come on and you're like, sick and tired of the
Yeah. That's my favorite is when people allude to the fact that they may or may not be experimenting psychedelically in their own life, listening to our music. I'm like, yes, exactly.
My thing is too, like, I don't want other artists to think that they need to put themselves in a box and just put singles out. Like, it's like, create and like, don't hold yourself back.
Like, it may have propelled our first work further to heed the guidance of some very wise heavy hitters in the music industry and only release 5 to 7 tracks that all fit in that grunge box. But even as these brilliant, really great people are giving us this advice, we still have to step back and go, yeah, but isn't that exactly why we did all this? To not have some third party come and say, all right, I think you're this, so you're going to release this and we're going to make you this. It's like,
going back to the concept of self-immolation, it's like we live in a world driven by singles, driven by numbers, driven by all these people wanting you to have a 15-second song on TikTok that blows up. We're like, fuck you, here's 11 great songs and one of them you're gonna like one of them or you're gonna like all of them. So who am I to tell you what you're gonna like? Like, that's on you.
And I also love that you guys just like, shortly after starting the band, just like put out a debut album, because so many people would just put out like 10 EPs over the course of like 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you got a new single coming out every week for forever.
Yeah.
Let us know which one you like so we can make 10 more songs like
In
it.
5 years, we'll make an album, maybe.
And that's another reason why we left to Austin too. Like, the whole point of leaving where we were at was to get away from anybody around you, even the naysayers or even the yes men being like, oh, this is sick. Just fucking get all that out of your head and just make something that you're proud of. And that's all we can hope for.
Pivoting now to like the live shows, what can audiences expect from a Sunrose live show?
We had somebody tell us that we were the most fun show that they've seen all year. And this was like a head label executive. So they can expect to have a fucking real show. They can expect to see real artists doing real things, and our microphones are on, and there is no
No backing tracks.
There's nothing in your ear going,
Yeah, no.
no, it's just us.
That's why you catch us looking at our drummer so much, because we're like, yeah, all right.
And if you're single, the crowd's full of hot people. So
Oh man, the show. I would say the show is like, it's an experience.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing you can look forward to when you go to a show is maybe that 1 or 2 songs that you want to like put on your Instagram to show your friends, hey, I'm here. It's not an experience. It's part of this like weird social marketplace that everyone exists in and lives vicariously through their social media apps, versus like our concerts. I believe you'll go and you'll see people struggling to go like, well, yeah, I want to record this, but I also want to experience this as a human, which is like, now it's like the more famous or well-known a musical act is, you don't even see people's faces. You see this, bro. Yeah. What if you did this interview and I was like, oh my God, Milky. Yeah. Wow, bro, you're so cool. Or like, would you rather me talk to you? That's what we provide. We provide an opportunity for people to come have an actual musical experience where they take more away than a post for their Instagram. They go, wow, that was like a thing. Like that was really actually is the killer. Wow, you guys, that was actually fun. You guys actually sound pretty good. And we're like,
the live bands, their records outshine them live. That is not us.
We're the most fun live.
We're
Dude.
the most fun.
That's
live.
If Jackson's mic stand tips over, or if he just gets amped and like spinning roundhouse kicks it over, it doesn't matter because he'll do his guitar solo and sing into the mic on the floor without missing a beat. And there are people who, if their mic stand tipped over, they dye their hair pink and beat up their sound guy. You know, and that's just not, we're not really about that life. You know what I mean? We play music. Pink Floyd. A producer, maybe Rick Rubin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Rick
producer.
Rick Rubin. Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath.
Something by Darren Aronofsky with a lot of visceral, brutal reality.
Don't fuck up.
Yeah. Where's my weed? Wow, this is so fun. Should I open my eyes? Oh shit, there are people here.
Hannah Montana.
Miley Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus in the club
Miley
with her
Cyrus.
J's on, sniffing blow with Juicy. What's up?
Miley Cyrus with her sexy ass voice now.
I wasn't there, but the Idols.
The Idols was great. Yeah.
Or Purple Jam was sick too.
SZA SOS tour, a goddamn show, bro. Spice Girl.
Spice Girl. 10 out of 10, bro. Mine's just being White Diamond.
Mine would be Don't Get Fucking Shot, Spice.
I'd be Mulatto Spice.
Oh my god. Come on, dude.
What's your name? What's your Spice name, bro?
I don't know.
Come up with something fruity, dog.
Little Spice, bro. You just said a little.
Little Spice. Steph, me and you could be Old Spice.
Oh! The pyramids. Definitely the pyramids. Sydney Opera House, maybe.
Yeah. I feel like the pyramids, like us doing a sunset show in Egypt, would be fucking nuts.
Stonehenge.
Like,
too.
yeah, like
Stonehenge. Okay, and like honestly, of influence, it would be the Beatles and then Nirvana. My current self, give my future self. My future self is gonna be way smarter than me, so nothing I say now will fucking affect him.
Make decisions with logic, not with your heart.
I'd say remain humble. Humility.
Yeah.
I would say just to play more, play everything. Or like play more instruments. Like don't be afraid. Write more. Just be creative as much as you can.
When I heard Sunrose demo,
2011 in high school when Take Care came out by Drake, and I went, damn, he's light skinned. I could make music too.
I think when I was like, yo, neighbor guy, I have this song. I have the hook and shit. Here's the song. Come up with some verses for it. And I heard Jackson sing the next day and just saw his attitude. And I was like, this is pretty murderous. I could get behind this. Like, my dad was a music teacher, and I was never like, oh yeah, this moment is music. But I think I would say like a team. When I found the right team of people that I was like, not only are they musicians, but they're just like hardcore people. So like what, 2019? 2020?
2019?
2019?
I'd say when we played Black Hole at AMP that one time. And we all
I mean,
went,
the whole thing that kicked it off was Trip hearing Oasis. He got like a minute into it. I always want to note that because we say Black Hole often, but before that even surfaced, Trip moved in. So
I didn't really have a choice. My mom just made me join bands.
yeah, but when did you want to? Like at any point?
Like probably a few years into it, or well, like I guess right away, honestly. Like just, I didn't really want to be a band kid and like.
But then when you're in it, you're like,
but
oh,
when
I
I
do
like
this.
almost immediately when I joined into it, I was like, I'm gonna do this for all.
we hold Jack's hostage. We don't let him go.